Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. Hope you're having a good week. All right, so we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin. This is actually awesome. Nice little recovery here. Coming back up to that 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. As we talked about yesterday when we left off, there's a great chance for a dead cat type of bounce. Okay, now not screaming to high heaven that the price is just going to turn around and drop, but it's less common for the price to ramp back up this quickly. And it would make a lot more sense for it to reject off of one of these two levels here that we can see, okay? First of all, we did see that initial rejection. If I recall correctly, that's also where the moving average is at. Look at that, the 20 and the 50 all kind of hanging out right there. So that's going to be a point of contention. Going to take a lot more volume to get through that level. And as we can see, though, volume is increasing a little bit here, but not significant enough, okay? So cool stuff there. We'll check that out in the back end stuff as well. And if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people to trade, be sure to check out our newest partnership here with Bitunix, phenomenal exchange. They give you some really healthy deposit rewards. So be sure to check that out in your own time. Link down below. Just know sooner than later they're going to start offering some really healthy rewards for just registering your account. Honestly, we might actually only offer that to our premium group, but either way, at this point, some really cool features coming along with them. They have like trailing stop losses and ways to take multiple profit targets, very close to what we use in our trading bots. So it's a really cool feature. Okay, so what we want to use here and look at, rather, is some levels here. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. We zoom in, we can kind of see liquidation levels, right? We got some low leverage liquidation levels here at about 37,320. High risk leverage at about 38,200. So some folks took some high risk leverage at 38,000. Congrats again to you if you are in a short there. Might recommend taking profits, but again, that's just me personally thinking that, if you leave money on the table, it's not really all that profitable, right? But again, different strokes for different folks. You should always know what you're going to try to get out of the trade before you get into it. And we talked about that yesterday with my community, and I think it's important to just kind of have your head on straight when you get into a trade, right? Make sure you don't just jump in arbitrarily and hope for the best. That never really truly works out. So we got some low leverage longs here at about 34,400. So longs are still pretty safe, minus the ones that got wrecked at about 35,000 from yesterday with that large wick down. Let's go ahead and double check some longs here for open interest and kind of see roughly where our longs are hanging out. We got the most amount of longs hanging out here. Well, I wouldn't say they're hanging out there. They got liquidated pretty hard right there at about 35,700. Okay, so 35.7 is where they're at. But what we see here with the shorts, it should probably be the inverse, I'm speculating. Shorts are hanging out right here for the most part at about 36,200. So pretty much where the price action is at right now. Some folks are trying to short. Makes sense considering we got that Fibonacci retracement level we just talked about, that little resistance. It's basically a previous high turned into a new resistance, right? So generally speaking, it makes sense that folks are trying to short that. Let's take a quick look here at actually the last 12 hours and kind of see what's going on here with Bitcoin, because that'll give us a little bit more perspective. We got the largest amount of liquidation levels at about 35,600. So 35.6, we got a lot of longs hanging out there. So it really kind of tells us that there's more potential for disaster to the downside than the upside. And I get the question too often, like, how do you interpret this? Well, truth is, the larger concentration you see of liquidation, the more likely those targets are to get hit. Again, it depends on how far off they are, but with this 36, like 35.6, that's a key Fibonacci retracement level. Okay, the price comes down, it's going to likely wick right to that level and reject. So more often than not, if the price were to pull back, you'll constantly see those levels get just tested and turn around. So I would not be surprised if we see a liquidation hunt down to 35.6 and the price just turns right back around. It's really common for that to happen. So that's kind of where these levels help us a little bit, is to kind of understand where the most amount of volume is averaged out. So that way you know what targets the bulls and the bears are shooting for. Because it's not people like you and us pushing the price action up or down. We're just casually having a good time. These folks, it's their business to destroy accounts, okay? Because it makes them money. It's just the way it is, all right? Greed is a very real thing, and you need to recognize it's definitely a present, clear and present here. All right, so let's take a look at the daily, work our way down. Elliott Wave can kind of really pretty much the same narrative here, right? 0.5, 0.3, 0.618, same levels there. 36,500 is a rough estimate of roughly where that rejection point is. And again, if you can kind of see this here, previous day, previous candle wick all the way down here, that's kind of somewhat of a support level previously. came down below. Now it's considered resistance. So there's potential again for us to reject off that level and come down. As we can see with our volume here today, while we have 8 hours left in the volume, we haven't hit that moving average just yet. So there is truth here in the sense that the price action doesn't have tremendous amount of volume here so far, but we can identify that in smaller time frames. We can see though, and this is important to recognize, the 20-day SMA is hanging out, working as a tentative support level. Okay. Now again, it's not super strong. It's not really even one of those indicators you can say, I rely on this indicator to hold the price action in place. Like the 50, the 200, those are more consistent. The 20 though is like a trend setter. So we know that the 20-day SMA is with it staying above that level, it lets us know that we're generally speaking still on the right side of the tracks. Okay. We break below that, I think that would be disadvantageous. We didn't close below that yesterday, so we're just fine. And today here so far, we're up and over. Okay. So good stuff there for the most part. 4-hour time frame. Let's go ahead and see here. We got that bounce off 30 on the RSI I was talking about. Is a pretty common characteristic. A lot of folks like to buy those dips. Those are dips that I've bought before as well. I just know that with this 100-day SMA kind of hanging out just above the price action, with us breaking through that level, it's a very positive sign. But once more, we are still kind of averaged out below the 20 and the 50. So to me, at this point, I'm still not convinced the price is just going to shoot up. When we saw previously where all the shorts are hanging out, shorts are kind of just averaged out at about 36,400, 36,200. Basically, the open interest concentration is at about 36,300. That's the average. That tells us right there that's going to be somewhat of a resistance level because folks believe that the price action will not cross that plane. I would agree with that sentiment in the sense that we shouldn't experience the price action to go much higher. If it does, then we might be able to break through and continue back where we came from. But I don't think it's realistic to see the price go much further up. Again, mainly because we saw some previous support levels here, support, and now it's a resistance. We really got to respect the fact that the price action is likely due to continue to correct itself. Okay. Again, it may not make a significantly lower. We got to give it time. It might work itself into somewhat of a wedge pattern where the price continues into a certain direction, starts to compress. Then we'll see a breakout, of course. But generally speaking, between now and then, we should not presume to want to take a large leverage trade. Again, I like to just kind of specify that because I get some folks that are just like, hey, are we good to go now? Yes and no. I do not like trading Bitcoin when it's like this here. When we're kind of in that middle of a range, that's not my preferred entry. MACD is starting to converge on the 4-hour. It does imply that we have a shift in potential momentum to the upside. Once more, though, you got to recognize until we close above 36.5 soundly, I do not believe we are going to be able to break bullish essentially on this coin. Okay, just some friendly advice. I don't think we're there yet. This is that normal little recovery, that little relief rally, so to speak, that is still not all that strong. So as you can see, previous support range here, going to be a new resistance range for us. All right, so just be mindful of that. That said, let's take a quick peek over at HMO Cloud and kind of see. This is something I'm kind of letting you know here that we do want to wait for confirmation. So we take a look at this here. We can see we're not within the cloud yet. We haven't broken above. But hypothetically, again, this time tomorrow or this time tonight, if we're at 36,300 or higher, we would naturally be above the cloud, and we'd have that situation where we'd have, I wouldn't say open range to take along, but we'd have much more confidence taking along. Okay. Again, a lot of other factors are leading me to believe that along is not a viable option still. But again, if the price continues to stay in this range here for a couple more, maybe just say a day or two, then I think we're going to be in good shape to see the price continue higher because we're going to build a volume profile in this range, break through that resistance with extra volume. But right now, we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that our money flow index is still pretty low. It's starting to average out higher, of course. Money's coming back into the coin. And if we do take a look at the volume ticker here, we have slightly more volume in the last 8 hours. So that is helpful. It's just not quite enough to get us through that resistance level yet. Okay. Again, pay attention to the volume. I think it's an important factor that a lot of folks will overlook. But generally speaking, at this point, I would say that we're not in a phenomenal shape. And I don't think the price action is going to just take off and go crazy. I do think, though, a closure above 36.5 would help us get that confirmation we're looking for. So to me, I want to see the price go sideways for another day. If it does, then I might feel confident in taking along. And then obviously a closure above 36.5 today might also give me some more confidence, but I'm still not there yet. I'm not sold. I'm sorry. So this just seems like kind of, I wouldn't say a fake out, but this doesn't seem like it's sustainable just yet. Okay, that basically means if you're trading altcoins minus Solana, you might want to be careful and be cautious. Again, quick congrats to our community members. Just got to highlight this. This is fantastic. We took Solana long last night after my evaluation, 55.75 entry. We hit 58.47, 60.90, and 63.68. 3 targets there so far in about 13 hours. So again, congrats to our community members for 56% there. Premium Plus group too. We've been scalping the heck out of Matic lately too. Really awesome stuff. BNB. We actually have multiple BNB trades too, and there's a Solana there at 44%. Again, congrats again. Looking forward to future profits with y'all. Thanks again for the wonderful feedback. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Take good care.